Okay, so I wanted to mix it up a little bit this week and kind of give you a little bit of an idea of where to focus for studying. I'm hoping maybe this will help you guys more than seeing typed words on a screen. So again, look at your learning outcomes. You'll also be looking at chapter 4, which has some of the terminology. It's not specifically genetics or epigenetics, but it's altered cellular and tissue biology. That chapter will help you in applying and kind of understanding not only the genetics and epigenetics, but also the disease process. So when you go into here, you're going to kind of go through, look at these chapters. So in chapter 2, you'll see as you go through, it talks about the DNA, RNA, and hereditary stuff at the molecular level. So that kind of builds on and explains what you'll need to know when you get to some of the terminology and then some of the disease processes. So it's important to look at and make sure you understand the terminology, which is part of why we have these applications down here too. They should hopefully help you with that. But go through and kind of make sure you know what the terminology means as you get through the beginning pages of the genetics chapter, which is chapter 2. I would also say when you get to page 46, there's a great table, table 2-1. It talks about the characteristics of the chromosomal disorders. That's really important in understanding. Also look, and in the reading, it talks about, who's at risk, what the features are from 46 into 47. Those are really important things to make sure that you're paying attention to. How would you know if you were the nurse in a delivery room that this may potentially be a disorder, or if you were a nurse working for a genetics practitioner, what types of things might be included in the teaching for these families? So any of these, the deletions, the duplications, kind of understanding what these are. So as I get into, page 40, 48, 49, again, make sure you understand what the terms are. Make sure that you're looking at what type of genetic abnormality would cause the particular diseases. And what would you teach the family? Why are they at risk? What are the chromosomal abnormalities that they would see? And what does it mean? So kind of looking at all of this, making sure you're understanding it. As you get to page 53, you'll see that they have the Punnett square, so you can kind of start to see, dominant, recessive. How would you know what a dominant versus recessive trait is? This should kind of bring you back to, biology and anatomy and physiology. Then again, going through the chapter, it's a lot of terminology and making sure that you understand it. At the end, one of the things I really like about this book is it has did you understand? It's really like this is what you need to know type of stuff. So make sure that you are looking at that. If you have not already, please make sure that you are going online to the Evolve Elsevier site, Huther. It says right in here there's animations that you can use, there's more case studies, and there's also extra review questions that you can use. So that's right in the beginning of your book. As you get into 64, or to page 64, into chapter 3, again, it's talking about the different aspects of epigenetics. Make sure, again, that you know the terminology, but also look at the disease processes. It talks about Prader-Willi. It talks about the Beckwith-Wiedemann syndrome. So look at these. What would you expect the patient to know if you provided teaching? What are the features of the particular disease process, and how would the patient end up getting it? So those are the types of things for pathophysiology that you really want to make sure that you know. As you keep going through here, again, it talks about maternal care, mental illness. There's a lot of different aspects of this that I would definitely make sure that I'm looking at as I was studying it. Again, at the end of here, you have your key terms and you have that did you understand. It's basically going through and giving you the most important key points for each section within the reading. Also a great thing to be looking at. Chapter 4 is a lot of terminology. There's not a ton of application. It's more or less making sure that you understand these disease processes for this particular chapter. These will help you as we start to progress into the future chapters. So make sure that you get these terms down. And if I'm telling you need to get the terms down, you're probably going to want to make sure that you're prepared with them for the quiz. So it's understanding what is hypoxia, what causes it, what is reversible versus an irreversible injury. Go through, take a look. You can maybe do note cards, any of that to help you. It breaks down, the cellular level of the pathophysiology of all of these things. It talks about, I'm trying to see, getting to page, the table 4-5, it talks about different molecular targets and how certain drugs affect you. Again, we're not testing you on the medications for this one. That would be in pharmacology, not patho. So you don't really need to know those. It's good to look at, and it'll be helpful for next semester, but not necessarily something you need to know right now. Other things that you want to make sure that you're looking at as you get into here, page 92, it talks about fetal alcohol syndrome. It talks about injuries, unintentional injuries in a patient. Table 4-8 has a lot of great terms, things that you will see in the future. It'll apply to many aspects of what you're learning. It talks about asphyxial injuries at the top of page 94. So 94 to 95 have a lot of information. It also goes into the mechanisms of cellular injury, and that's where you get into the genetics, the epigenetics and stuff. That's on page 97. So make sure as you're going through this that you're really looking at what is this, what does it mean, what is this term, what does it apply to. I hope this helps you guys. Again, when you're getting into 99, 100, 101, all of these have tons of terms that I would make sure I'm paying attention to. Even into 102, what is necrosis? What is coagulation necrosis? What is, the different other forms of necrosis? There's a bunch of them going into 104. So take a look at this stuff. I hope this helps you guys in focusing your studying. And again, at the end of this chapter, that Did You Understand section is a great thing to look at. Once you get through the reading, these links here, the videos, are really to kind of help make sense of what you've read. You might want to look at, genetics when you're looking at chapter 2. You might want to look at what is epigenetics when you're looking at chapter 3. A lot of this stuff is just to sort of reinforce and help you in understanding. So I hope this helps you guys. And if you have any questions, by all means, please reach out to me during the week.